Welcome to Greg Kelly Reports. I'm Jon Tabacco. Now, Democrats and the left, they don't want America to be great. We know this. They have a problem with this country being great, and I would even go as far to say they hate America. And because of that, they'll do basically anything they can to undermine our values and successes, as well as thwarting anything that will bring back great American greatness. They spend their time on television, on social media, across any and all platforms they can to spew hate and lies about America. The end game, you ask? To trick Americans into believing that America is not the great country it is. And of course, to bend the knee to their woke policies. This is nothing new. And whenever I can, I try to shine a light on this utter insanity. Now, the last time Greg was nice enough to let me fill in for him, we talked about this, if you remember, about the radical left risks that are posed to about the risks the radical left poses to the success of our nation. What progressives and the socialists don't want is for us to be united. We can once again be great, but that's what they fear. Think about how sick that is. These people fear a great America. These people, they don't want us to be great at all. And you know what? It's not getting any better. They do not want American greatness. They're scared of it. And the only way they know how to try and fight is pushing the old, reliable, false narratives on us, you know, like the old white supremacy and racist ones. And guess what, my friends? They're at it again in yet another effort to turn what should be love for this great country into hate. The radical left and their socialist agenda is not just attacking the American nuclear family, you know they're after that, but they're after our kids and the American way of life as we know it. But now, to me, they've gone too far. They may have canceled some of my favorites like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, but now they're going after our holidays. Don't take my word for it. Just take a look at the hate machine and the #1 enemy of our republic, MSNBC, and their star over there, Joy Reid, or as I like to call her, No Joy Reid. She said this about Thanksgiving, a day that we should all be thankful for what we have and count our blessings. But no Joy, she had to do it.
The day we gather with friends and family to enjoy turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie. We throw on the game, catch up on our lives, and then discuss, or quite possibly argue, about religion and politics. It's also important to unpack the myth of Thanksgiving. It is a holiday riddled with historical inaccuracies, built on this myth that the indigenous welcomed their colonizers with open arms and ears of corn, a simplistic fairy tale interpretation of a 1621 encounter between indigenous tribes and English settlers that erases the genocide that followed.
And that was just the opening act of MSNBC's primetime show. That right there, attacking the very foundation of this country. To her, the discovery of America is just some simplistic fairy tale. But wait, it gets worse.
It's the truth Republicans want banned from our textbooks. Because here's the secret they want so desperately to keep. We are a country founded on violence. Our birth was violent. In 1619, a ship with more than 20 enslaved Africans landed in Virginia, ushering in 2 centuries of American slavery that left millions in chains or dead. And when those humans in bondage were finally free, a terrorist organization that was a card-carrying member of polite society, the Ku Klux Klan, picked up where the Civil War ended, using violence to maintain white supremacy.
The whitewashing of history? Huh? Well, let's talk about the history here. It was actually the Democrat Party who supported the KKK. U.S. Senator Democrat Robert Byrd, I think, was like the Grand Master or the Grand Poobah. But will Joy Reid and the rest of the Democrats tell you that? No. because it doesn't fit their little narrative. And here's just one more from Miss No Joy.
The Klan and its ilk are still active, and as Americans, we continue to choose violence. We are a country that chooses violence over and over again. There is no facet of American society that is untouched by it.
Oh, we choose the violence, us? The evil Republicans? We're the violent ones? We're the ones that spent an entire summer looting and burning down American cities? I think that's where you got it twisted, Joy. Let's take a quick jog down memory lane and see who was really supporting, encouraging, and fomenting violence.
I know that there are protests still happening in major cities across the United States. I'm just not seeing the reporting on it that I had
that's right.
for the first few weeks.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not, this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should not.
Take note, they're not going to stop being violent, and we're not going to make them stop. And it's not just Joy Reid that speaks this way. It's not just the Vice President of the United States. Those are just a few of the mouthpieces of the progressive agenda, pushing American hatred and promoting violence. It's not just isolated in television or politics. It's spread into every facet of life. What if we head over to another industry and check in with the Hollywood elites? Hollywood is full of haters. Elitists who think they know what everyday hardworking Americans think and believe, trying to get everyone to hate America's greatness. Let's take a look at some of the worst of them in Hollywood. Hollywood actor John Leguizamo, most famous for his role as Benny Blanco in Carlito's Way with Al Pacino. What's his take on Thanksgiving? He tweeted this: "Happy Indigenous Survivors Day, F Thanksgiving." Jon Stewart, he also hates Thanksgiving, apparently. I celebrated Thanksgiving in an old-fashioned way. I invited everyone in my neighborhood to my house. We had an enormous feast, and then I killed them and took their land. Okay, let's go over to music. Even Cher's a hater when it comes to Thanksgiving. When asked on Twitter if she celebrated Thanksgiving, she said no, because she does not celebrate the beginning of a great crime. Stealing land from a people who believed owning land was like owning sky. We gave them blankets laced with smallpox. Whoa. All in all, whether it's the left-wing media, the Vice President of the United States, or the Hollywood elites, it seems not only are they against making America great, they actually are actively working to make it the opposite. They hate our customs and traditions, and I'd say to them, once in a while, just once in a while, be thankful you were born here, and leave Thanksgiving and the rest of our country alone. Hate and haters have no place in America, especially when that hate is aimed at tearing down our great country.